sorry, things were a bit of a mess down there. That's why preparing this took a bit longer than expected.
That's fine, or rather, Ogiso. This is...
Let's eat first. The heat will at least help mask the flavor.
yellowtail teriyaki, chop suey, and hamburger steak. The main dishes are a magnificent blend of Japanese, Chinese, and Western cuisine. On top of that, rice and sashimi soup too. No matter the dish, she took into consideration how the colors and appearance would match up when plating them. A perfect example of a family dinner. With how great it looks, it's guaranteed that the flavor will at least be average.
Why? Because Kitahara-kun said that he wanted to talk over dinner.
Well, I did say that, but I meant someplace quieter, where we could talk, like at a family restaurant or a cafe.
It's cheaper to be eating dinner at home, and besides...
Besides?
It's bad for Touma-san's health if she always eats out, so I thought I might kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Hey, I thought I warned her many times that Touma is particularly hot-tempered.
Well then, Touma-san, help yourself. You won't be able to fight on an empty stomach.
Touma? Should I say Ogiso is fearless, or that Touma is just defenseless against her?
Well then, let's eat.
Kitahara-kun? Let's eat. Touma-san? Oh.
You can have as much as you like. There's enough for seconds too, so don't be afraid to ask.
I really can't understand the dynamics between these two. Here, Kitahara-kun, please have some. Thanks. For some reason, we were completely silent for the entire duration of the dinner. I'm not sure what Touma was so stubborn about, since she was focused on eating up everything she grabbed. There was not much we could really discuss. Here, Touma-san! And once Touma had eaten it all, Ogiso asked her with a smile if she wanted seconds. After several seconds of tension, Touma silently handed her rice bowl to the smiling Ogiso, and this, perhaps heartwarming scene, repeated itself at least twice. During this time, I had only managed to ask for seconds once.
Well, how did you guys like dinner? I think it turned out okay, but...
It was delicious.
Really? I'm so glad! I only make food about once a month, so I didn't really feel all that confident, you see.
I have to say, it tasted pretty good. The taste was essentially by the book. It was neither too sweet nor too spicy, and the bitterness, sourness, and just about everything else was done just right, such that it wouldn't be embarrassing to serve such fare anywhere. I don't mean anything bad when I say it was by the book either. It's because she followed the instructions in the book carefully that she was able to make something like this in practice. She'll only get better from now on. Given that she's already produced such results with only normal efforts, I have no doubt that I can expect greater things from her from here on out.
Would you like another cup?
No, there's no need. Thanks.
What about you, Touma-san?
No need.
I see.
Then, I'll be going home.
We absolutely can't let you.
Though Touma tried to stand up, it's obvious that her movements have been dulled since she took Ogiso's challenge and ate 3 whole bowls of rice. Come on, Touma. Can't you join us? We only have this little request that you help us with all sorts of things for the school festival.
How can you call it a little request, and then ask me to help with all sorts of things?
I think that people who complain about every little detail will end up losing the trust of others.
What a coincidence. I happen to agree with you, Kitahara.
For some reason, Touma is looking at me as if objecting to something.
Come on, Touma-san. Can't you help us with this?
You can keep trying to appeal to my emotions like that, but I won't budge.
Huh? What do you mean, like that?
Whatever you may try, be it sincerity, devotion, or goodwill, I'm not someone so weak-willed to fall prey to something so cheap.
Huh?
After all, I've never been a considerate person at all to begin with.
Touma-san?
Because of that, I'm sorry, but
Kitahara-kun, I'm sorry, but I'm not sure I understand what Touma-san is saying. Could you explain it to me?
what?
Oh, I get it. Basically, Toma's saying that she sees your hospitality as some form of sincerity, devotion, or goodwill.
Ah, if that's what it was, then we can all split the costs. I think it should be somewhere around 1,000 yen per person.
It's not about the money. I get the reason why Touma can't deal with Ogiso, as well as the reason why Ogiso seems completely oblivious of that fact. So, you see, Touma, Ogiso doesn't really think of today as anything particularly special.
Why? Bringing others to your house, having them taste your cooking. What for?
Maybe you don't understand because your personalities are so different? Unlike Touma, Ogiso was simply raised that way. Although I'm sure she'd make even less of an effort to understand if I told her that. So I kept those words to myself. In other words, their relationship was predestined to be turbulent because of this.
Listen, Touma-san, I didn't treat you to all this because I had an ulterior motive. I just felt that we could talk more easily on a full stomach.
Isn't that what it means to have an ulterior motive?
Do you expect me to believe that you have pure intentions when you've already put me through so much torment?
I feel a bit ashamed for anticipating that very retort.
Torment? I was just teasing you a little.
Wrongly jumping to conclusions about other people's feelings and embarrassing them until their face burns with shame. You call that just teasing?
Come on, Touma. What in the world did Ogiso do to you?
Ah, that's probably because Kitahara-kun, Touma-san isn't...
Fine then. We'll leave the emotional arguments out of this. Let's be rational.
Seeing this exchange between them makes it even harder for me to ignore factors other than how they were raised.
For starters, the plan you guys have is just impossible.
Wait!
Ogiso? The moment Toma's words were about to flare up, Ogiso puts out the flames with cold water, even though she was the one waiting for this topic to be brought up.
I'm sorry, but, be quiet for a moment.
Commanding us, she moves as if sliding across the floor, and as she reaches the door, she puts her hand on the doorknob.
Hey, Takahiro, this doesn't seem to be as bad as you claimed it was.
That's just for now. I'm telling you, it's going to get real ugly.
Their relationship doesn't seem that bad to me. Sure, that girl didn't talk too much, but both of them seemed quite polite.
I'm sure of it. I heard it from them. The reason why she came to our house is to make those two break up.
Why would they talk about it here? And what does it have to do with Setsuna?
That's exactly why it's going to get ugly. Basically, the reason why the two of them are fighting is...
Could it be that?
That's right. Sis stole her boyfriend, and things are about to go ballistic.
That's
quite a mess. And how does that boy feel about this?
Well, it seems that he's all over Sis right now, but his ex-girlfriend just won't let him go, so he seems to be in a tough spot.
But isn't that Setsuna's fault? She put herself between a couple who were dating, right?
There wasn't the slightest hint that she was dating anyone. Yet now, suddenly, she is having an immoral affair. You're good, sis.
There's nothing good about it at all. Betraying a friend in such a cruel way? I don't recall raising such an immoral daughter.
Could you do something about it, Mom? As an adult, maybe something before they get into a scuffle?
I'm the one who wants to do something about you two.
Ah!
I was wondering what those whispers I was hearing were. Takahiro, just what kind of person do you take your sister for?
And Mom, it's always the same with you. You're still believing Takehiro's gibberish nonsense.
Recently, some people have been getting into the, what did they call them? They're friends with fornication relationship or something.
Jeez, Mom. Daytime dramas, variety shows, and weekly women's magazines are all off limits from now on. I'm so sorry. I never meant for you to bear witness to this side of my family. I humbly apologize for my mom and brother's rudeness.
That's okay. We don't mind, right, Touma?
I don't care.
I'm really sorry, Touma-san. My family is a bit overprotective. Or rather, they're not really thoughtful.
Well, you guys get along, and that's important, right? It didn't take much to convince Setsuna's family that we were part of the Light Music Club, there to discuss our plans for the school festival, though I'm not sure why they accepted it so easily. In any case, we're in a rush to resolve all of our issues now, so I'll just leave it at that. We don't! We're always fighting! Really?
Well, since they let me have a part-time job, I can't really go against them.
I guess not. Though she calls it not wanting to go up against them, it's probably more that she can't stay angry at them. When Takahiro-kun and Setsuna's mother learned about our activities, they had a sudden change of heart. Satisfied, they said they'd definitely come to the festival. Besides, Ogiso didn't tell them not to come or that she wouldn't like them to. In a way, she'd forgiven her family much sooner than we did.
Were you offended? They really didn't mean anything bad. I'll apologize in their stead, okay?
I said I'm not angry. You aren't either, right, Touma?
Not really. I don't care.
How should I put it? This anticlimax has left both Touma and me dumbfounded at how ridiculously well this family gets along. That's how it is, so we'll leave it at that. By the way, is it okay if we eat the cake your mother brought?
Sure. Mom actually baked this one herself. She always bakes a cake at noon on her days off.
Also, although I do feel sorry for Touma, I definitely don't think of this as an unpleasant situation. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It's that kind of embarrassing, nostalgic feeling you get from seeing a 10-year-old home video. It makes me feel truly happy, if just a little.
To begin with, the plan you guys have is just impossible to pull off. You're not going to make it in time for the festival, no matter who joins you.
It won't be that way if you join us, Touma. I gulp down my cake and sip my black tea. I also make sure that no one's eavesdropping from the hallway. It's almost 7 p.m., and our negotiations have finally begun.
In that case, Kitahara, what exactly would you have me do?
Well, the piano, obviously. In terms of band composition, you'd be the keyboardist, I guess. Anyway, I just want you to perform with us, Touma.
Well, Kitahara-kun, in particular, is a huge fan of your piano, Touma-san.
Please don't say that about me right in front of her.
At least deny it before getting embarrassed. You disgust me.
Sorry. A flaw in my personality is that I'm not used to hiding any embarrassment and lying.
And who will be the bassist? And what about the drums? Sure, it depends on the songs you pick, but you know that just adding a pianist won't be enough, right?
We can think of solutions to those problems as we go.
Even though you have only 3 weeks left? How many days will this as we go take? All of tomorrow?
Well, if you joined us sooner, Touma. 1 week, I think. Come on, she should have just let that one slide.
There's no time for that. With merely 2 weeks of practice, what kind of results do you expect to achieve? If you perform like that, we'll just end up a complete and utter joke. Got it? This whole ideal plan you're talking about is already nothing more than a dream.
Is it wrong for me to dream?
Kitahara-kun?
I know it is, but still.
It sure is.
Instantly shot down? If somebody shuts me down so bluntly, I can't help but hold it against them. I find myself starting to sulk, just like my friend here usually does.
This isn't like you. I could never imagine such words coming out of the ever-realistic Kitahara's mouth.
Do you think I'm that rigid?
Preparing in advance, avoiding risks, keeping things stable, that's what defines you, isn't it?
Though her sulky attitude is a commonly different matter, given her family's history.
You avoid competition. You make sure no one's left behind, and that everyone makes it to the end together. You don't oppose anyone, always smiling quietly.
Her words are merciless, but it's true. That's the kind of person I've always striven to be.
You sure seem to know a lot, Touma-san. We're not talking about me right now. Don't try to break my train of thought.
Well, excuse me then, for acting so out of character. But the person I want to be right now, it goes against the whole image I've built up until now.
I didn't say it's something to be sorry about. I just said it's strange.
But what's wrong with a single month's leeway? A single month for me to act out of character and embarrass myself.
You might regret it. You might lose the whole serious, hardworking honors student, class representative Kitahara Haruki image you have had until now.
I've already considered that. The 2.5 years I've spent building up my image isn't that fragile.
That puts you in utter contrast with my 2.5 years.
Sorry to tell you, but that goes without saying. I did my best to get on the teacher's good side, while you did your worst to get on their bad side.
Kitahara-kun?
So, don't think you have me all figured out. Even I can be pretty unpredictable every once in a while.
And I'm saying that's not like you.
For once, I don't care if you start hating me for it. But I'll still make sure you join us whether you like it or not. If possible.
Wait a second now. I've never said a word about hating you.
Setsuna, I need to speak to you. Please open up.
And then, how many times has it been already that we've been interrupted just when the discussion is about to reach its climax. The time has finally come. The time for our plans to be turned completely upside down by an unrelenting force.
Wait, stop! Why are you bringing this up in front of my friends?
That'd be because you lied, wouldn't it? You never told me anything about singing at the school festival.
I didn't lie. It's just, I haven't found the right time to tell you guys.
You should consult your father and mother before doing something like that. We promised to do that long ago, didn't we?
That's, yeah, we did a long time ago, but I'll be a university student next year.
Just let it go, Dad. It's not like she has caused a problem or is quitting school. This is nothing compared to those things.
The festival only happens once a year, so what's wrong with letting loose a little?
You two knew about this?
No, we heard about it just earlier. She's going to form a band with the other two. Her female friend is really cool.
She's quite beautiful. I'm sure she'd be wonderful on stage. She should go and sing instead of Setsuna.
Oh, come on! Singing is the only thing I can do.
They're sure fond of you, Touma.
Shut up.
But there are no such positive comments about me.
Is that why you quit your part-time job? Were your late-night visits to the karaoke bars just an excuse for you to rehearse?
Sure, I did leave my job, but the karaoke thing is just a hobby of mine. And I've never actually practiced even once.
Seriously? But the show is this month. That's really pushing it.
Maybe you shouldn't go? I don't want my daughter to make a complete fool of herself in front of all the students.
We'll make it work. Haruka-kun and Touma-san are both really good, so it'll be fine.
Well, Touma is, but I'm kinda...
Then why are you pushing on?
In any case, please explain this from start to finish. After that, we'll decide whether you can participate.
But my friends are...
I'm sorry, but please have them go home. We have something very important to discuss as a family.
You can't be...
If you can't do it yourself, I'll apologize to them. It's been 3 years since you've had friends come over, so I want to greet them properly, too.
Dad!
Let's head home then.
Yeah.
Naturally, it's already pitch black outside when we leave the entryway. I can't help but shudder as the cold night wind stabs at my skin. I'm sure it'll take at least 15 minutes to reach the station from the residential area. The light of the moon, the stars, and the street lamps softly illuminate our way.
Kept you waiting, huh?
You sure did.
That's fine. I don't really feel sorry about it.
Oh, really? Touma was 5 minutes behind me. Finally leaving the entryway of the Ogiso household, she now stands beside me. I start walking and she shows no signs of hostility, disgust, or embarrassment as she walks beside me. But I'm a little embarrassed.
By the way,
Yeah, and as we advance, she shows no hostility, disgust, or embarrassment as she talks to me. I really am a little embarrassed.
Ogiso apologized. She was half crying.
I don't mind at all.
That's what I told her, too.
Thank you.
But that's just me telling her. You'll have to tell her that yourself tomorrow.
I see. Got it.
Yeah.
Despite saying we aren't bothered, the two of us hang our heads for a while as we make our way to the station. We couldn't find any more words to say after that spectacle. Ogiso's father came upstairs to her room and politely apologized to us. Despite my own apologies, the explanation that I was the one who forcibly invited Ogiso, as well as the fact that she quit her job because of me, he simply took it all as his daughter's problem. He just said that the family had something to discuss today, and he apologetically sent us home, bowing his head.
What was that?
I'd like to know too. It seems that Touma also feels the same uneasiness that I do. An entire family council to discuss whether she should perform at the school festival. Even though he's such a strict father, he never said anything like, "Everyone be silent," or "I won't allow this." He only pointed out the parts that Ogiso couldn't come up with excuses for, and he listened to her opinions in earnest.
I'm really not good with her.
Normally, I'd force a comment right after, but I just can't do it now.
Her family interfering that much, and she even thinks it's completely natural.
Because I feel like I've come across something incredibly remarkable. To think that a family straight out of a soap opera still exists in reality, even now.
Count me out. I can't imagine myself being in a situation like that.
I see. Which is why it had such a noticeable effect on Touma.
I won't accept it. I'll lose if I do.
Touma, shivering as if she were cold. Touma looks up at the night sky overhead. A commonplace and not too beautiful night sky. She had stopped walking by my side at some point, and although I look back at the road behind, I'm unable to see that brilliant face. But, you know, I had stuff like that happen at home too, years ago.
I see.
With how weakly she said that, I can't tell what she's feeling at all. Is she angry? Is she smiling or crying? Was there any emotion to it at all? My curfew was at 6, and whenever I was late, my mother would walk around restlessly in front of my house, and my father would lecture me really strictly, which is why I'm not sure whether she's listening to my silly story, or if she shut me out completely. Perhaps it's something else entirely. When I secretly drank plum wine at my friend's place, I was busted the moment I came back home because my face was flushed red. He called my friends home and lectured me as well as my friend. Even so, I continue my story, because I experienced that kind of drama at home in the past as well. Though they didn't care nearly as much about me once I entered middle school.
They let you go?
It's more the fact that my father left, really. Well, he pays plenty of child support, so I don't really have any right to complain. It's not something to boast about, and in front of Touma of all people, it really isn't something to boast about. My father is from Okayama. His family there is quite famous, owns a mansion, and runs a thriving family-owned enterprise. As the eldest son, my father was next in line to become the owner. He had good grades, got into a good high school, and got into a good university. It would have been smooth sailing, except for one thing. He married my mother, and she gave birth to me. From the family's perspective, it was a blunder. Regarding what actually happened, I've heard much about it from my mother's grumbling, but I never really cared. After hearing the two argue without any regard for each other's feelings, I lost any desire to take sides, and thus all that remained was the Kitahara household, which received monetary aid from a certain wealthy family in Okayama, and a mother and son who had grown indifferent towards each other.
I see you're still a half-assed idiot as usual, Kitahara.
I figured you were the only one who wouldn't be taken aback, Touma. All 3 times I've talked about my family circumstances with my friends, Takia included, their reactions were not very pleasant. So I've started avoiding talking about it with others.
Well, I never knew my father's name or what he looked like. I haven't lived with my mother in years. The credit card she left doesn't even have a limit.
Her family issues far surpass mine, and compared to Ogiso, her family is from a different genre of soap opera. You're as easy to understand as ever, Touma.
I thought you'd be somewhat taken aback, Kitahara.
Well, I'm half-assed as you say, I suppose. That's why I can relate to your family and Ogiso's family, Touma.
And what would you understand? I suppose you would.
After all, if I were to look up your mother, I'd get over 100,000 results. Her mother, a world-famous pianist. All sorts of old gossip can be read from the top of the search results related to her, as well as from her encyclopedia pages.
My family circumstances aren't that complex. They're really perfectly normal. In some people's eyes, they're no big deal at all.
She had married and divorced twice. Despite that, she had given birth when she was single.
But that's exactly why. It's fine for me to be frustrated, right? It's fine for me to be pointlessly angry at her, right?
Ogiso's a nice girl, isn't she?
And that's exactly why I'm not good with her. Not one bit. I'm sure we'll never see eye to eye until the day we die.
Again, Touma looks up at the sky, talking with a very weak and frail voice. Still, she's a lot more talkative now than she was before. But I still can't tell if she's angry, if she's smiling, crying, or even feeling anything at all. Even so,
she'll either become my worst enemy or the greatest friend of my life.
However, after looking up at the sky, she turns towards me.
I promised Ogiso just before I left.
Touma? She shows me an expression that suggests regret for her previous abusive language. A somewhat uncomfortable, girlishly embarrassed expression.
I told her, if you can persuade your parents, I'll join the light music club.
This expression that she had kept hidden from me these past 6 months shines brighter than any gem in the night sky. Setting aside my earlier lackluster description of the night sky as commonplace and not so beautiful, that is. What? Why?
You don't want me to? Then I could take that back.
But I was already thinking my next plan, too. I secretly swore to myself I'd definitely persuade you tomorrow. I thought that among all my failed attempts at persuading her, today would be the biggest failure. The discussion over the club was crushed by an unexpected reality check, and I was sure that the friendly banter of the Ogiso household only made Touma angrier.
You're bold, Kitahara. Did you plan to convince me with your tepid attitude? You're getting ahead of yourself.
Did Setsuna incur something other than her anger?
Though, I must say we're nearing the time limit here. We'll have to make use of every day.
Didn't you think our plan was impossible?
It sure is, if not for me.
Touma, it might be my turn to look away now. The moon and the stars in the sky aren't commonplace or lacking in beauty at all.
You guys are completely different from me, you see? I thought that it'd be impossible for us to understand each other.
No matter how many times I anger her, and no matter how many times Ogiso makes her uncomfortable.
But if that's the case, there might not be any harm in us being together.
In the end, Touma never betrays my firmly held notion that she's a good person deep down. A side of her that only I know. Thank you.
The amount of gratitude you have for me today won't ever be enough.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean it. Really. Thank you.
You really are annoying, Kitahara.
Sorry. It's Sunday, with only 2 weeks and a few days before the performance. But at least the Light Music Club, which was very close to being disbanded, has now managed to regain its form at the bare minimum, and is finally pushing towards its final school festival. To sum it up, she'll be joining the Light Music Club starting today. This is Touma Kazusa. Please give her a warm welcome, everyone. With the magnificent applause from Ogiso alone, my introduction of our newest member of the Light Music Club to the other members ends. She seems to change on a whim. She was so talkative last night, but today she showed up unhappy, and then suddenly, the next moment, she was even worse. And this is Izuka Takia. He's our current club president and a guitarist.
You really brought her in? Nice to meet you.
Oh yeah, didn't you get kicked for trying to flirt with Touma or something?
Haruki!
And this is, well, Ogiso Setsuna, but you already know her well. She's our singer. For personal reasons, I completely ignore Takia's issues and quickly continue on with the discussion.
Nice to meet you, Touma-san. Also, you can call me Setsuna. It's fine.
I don't want you calling me Kazusa.
For her first words here, Touma sets up a clear line of defense against the super friendly Ogiso.
In any case, let's all do our best for the school festival, okay?
Understood. When Ogiso called me last night, it was almost 1 a.m. From what I gathered, she had been arguing with her father up until then. Her unusually high-pitched voice had become deeper, and her breathing had a husky, almost seductive quality. Still, her actual tone of voice sounded far too excited, meaning that Ogiso would return to the club, and Touma would also join. After that, probably because she was too ecstatic, we spent about 2 hours talking. She said, "I'm going to call Touma-san's place right now," and I scolded her, reminding her that it was 3 a.m.
By the way, Kitahara-kun, you can also call me...
Ogiso? What's the matter, Ogiso?
You can call me Setsuna.
In truth, I recall hearing those devilish words whispered to me countless times over the phone last night. But right now, I'm not confident I can keep myself under control if I call her by her given name. By the way, Setsuna-chan...
Takia!
See? It went all out of control. Well then, let's begin the meeting now. For some reason, the president has lost the will to fight, so as presumptuous as it may be, I take control of the situation. On top of that, our dear president has lost his usual self-confidence and carefree attitude, and took a seat in the corner of the classroom, shuddering. It sure was loud when Touma sent that chair flying. What should we do? We've gathered everyone for now.
Gathered everyone? Were you listening to me at all last night? What even gave you the idea to say such nonsense?
No, I was listening. I was. Yeah, we need a bassist and drummer, right? Her sudden protest surprises me, but I'm so glad she cut me off before I could say something stupid as, let's try playing together, like I was about to.
Certainly, we could form a normal band with 4 people, but it's a different story with a singer who can only sing, 2 guitarists, and a keyboardist.
Like I said, one step at a time.
Besides, you're far too hasty with this gathering members deal, when we haven't even decided on a song.
There's a song I'd like to do.
Ogiso? Probably because she can't stand watching me fall into this unavoidable dilemma, Ogiso timidly raises her hand.
Well, it's okay to say it now. You two seem to be talking about something important.
Not at all. Like Touma said, we can't move on without deciding on anything. Isn't that right, Touma? Yeah, it's all good. She can scold me later.
You two can't tell?
You mean us? Should we be aware of the song you want to sing, Ogiso? Then I'll give you hints. If you don't get it right after the 3rd one, I'll cry, okay? No, wait a minute. Is this song of yours that important?
Hint number 1. What would be the
White
song
Album.
that we met by?
Uh,
Touma-san is correct.
That's just common sense, though.
I'm not good with quick answers. Of course, I'm fully aware I only said that because I'm just a sore loser. I feel seriously frustrated. But it's really surprising to me that even Touma would remember something like that so vividly. I feel seriously happy. Are you guys even aware I'm here? Haruki! Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, blah blah blah. Something strikes me as a bit odd though, now that I'm doing the YouTube edits. It didn't occur to me at first when I read through this originally. But why is Setsuna ordering punishments for her mother? Now, it could be just a joke, haha, look at the daughter ordering around her parents. But there have been some other things I've noticed, like Haruki said Setsuna's eyes were lacking emotion, and her little brother kinda bailed quickly when she showed up. I could just be imagining things, but is there something we're not aware about Setsuna? She seems to be the queen of the family. Her father is the only one who seems to have any control over her. And anytime she says they'd had an argument, we've never actually seen it. Is there another side to Setsuna that we haven't seen? Like, this makes another contrast with Touma. Touma is a bit of a bitch, but kind when you get down to it. Is Ogiso kind when you first glance at her, and when you get down to it, she's actually a bitch?